My name is Cheems. This is my 4,000th cycle. To commemorate this somewhat special day, I have decided to celebrate properly.
Welcome. What can I get for you?
A glass of whiskey.
All right.
Dad tells you, just wait a little longer and you'll see Mom.
Hello.
What's up?
Could you come down for a moment? I have something I want to talk to you about.
What's the matter?
Move a little to the left.
What comes next?
Next.
Wait! What are you doing? Let's talk this through calmly.
Thank you. It's another beautiful day. Over.
Put down your weapon. Surrender immediately.
What if I don't?
Then,
Then we will have to shoot.
Officer Luke, he is dangerous. Step back.
Don't worry, I'll talk to him. When I came, I checked your file. Your name is Cheems, 19 years old. No criminal record in the past. You've been drifting in society without a proper job since you graduated from school last year. A week ago, you received an unknown sponsorship and bought a house and a car in the city center. Regardless of where the money came from, logically, someone who just bought a car and a house should not be retaliating against society. However, starting from this morning when you killed the first person at the seaside bar, you have killed more than 30 people in various parts of the city in just one day, and the method was very skilled, not something a person without any criminal experience could do. Why did you do this?
Well, I just wanted some excitement.
Excitement? Is killing an exciting thing?
This is the 12th time you've asked me this question, officer. For your sake, I've been law-abiding for hundreds of times, only preparing for some excitement on the 4,000th anniversary, and this time I didn't kill any good people. I targeted gang leaders and criminals, just somewhere hidden deep. You guys didn't investigate them out.
Wait, have we met before? I don't recognize you.
I know, so stop talking nonsense and shoot.
You think I'm afraid to shoot?
I know you're willing to shoot. Go ahead. Goodbye, officer.
The suspect has been confirmed dead. Time of death, 22:14.
Clean up the scene and let's pack up.
Yes, sir.
This is the 12th time you've asked me this question, officer.
What was the situation with this person?
4001. My life became like this, starting from today. Or rather, It was 4,001 days ago today. Time has passed too long. I can hardly remember what happened during the first loop. But in my memory, it was a very ordinary day when nothing happened. It's another boring day. It was during the second time that I realized something was off. Huh? Isn't today the 15th? But at that time, I didn't pay much attention, just thinking I had the date wrong. I spent another day doing nothing. That night, I couldn't sleep, so I stayed on the couch scrolling through my phone. But after midnight, I suddenly teleported to the bed. At this moment, I finally realized that time was looping. An inexplicable fear rose in my heart. To confirm that I wasn't losing my mind, for the next 7 days, I stayed at home almost all day, waiting for the arrival of midnight. But no matter what I was doing at that time, as soon as the time arrives, the loop will start immediately. Finally, on the 9th loop, I decided to leave this place. I first tried to leave the city. I bought a plane ticket to the North Pole. By the time it was 11 o'clock in that loop, I was already thousands of kilometers away from where I lived, but it still failed. I tried running to various parts of the world, but every time the result was the same as before. Finally, when neither distance nor number of loops could end the cycle, there was only one option left: death. I originally thought I didn't have the courage to make this choice, but the constant looping did make me feel mentally collapsing. On that rooftop, I hardly thought twice, just leapt off without hesitation, and found myself back in my bed. After that, I tried various methods of dying, but the outcome was always the same. So I began to read various literary works related to loops, trying to find inspiration from them. But almost all the solutions to the loops in these works had a so-called main plot, such as saving someone or completing something. But in my dozens of loops, nothing peculiar happened at all. It was as if I was trapped in a maze with no exits, no goals, and no way out. I began to sink into depression, lying in bed every day, staring blankly at the ceiling, praying that the loop would end next time. But the loop continued daily. And so, when the 100th loop arrived, I suddenly realized that I would be trapped in an infinite loop all by myself, never to break free. Has it been that long already? I was really fragile back then. I've made the officer sad again. Forget it, he won't remember anyway. So, today is a day off. Let's relax well. In the loops that followed, many things happened. Although the world didn't change at all, I underwent a tremendous transformation. I did indeed despair of the loop back then. But now, I think, there is no better life than this. Because now, I have a job. A job that only I can do. Oops, I've gone overboard. It's already the 4005th loop. Never mind, let's focus, it's time to start working. Let me think. I tried the gentle approach last time, so this time I'll try the hard way. The mission is at the seaside. The nearest gun pickup point. Oh. I'll have to trouble him again. My job comes in many varieties. Sometimes it's very safe, but other times it's extremely dangerous. Therefore, firearms are an indispensable tool. In this city, obtaining a gun requires a license, and by the time the license is processed, the loop is almost over. So, each loop, if I need to get a gun, the best way is to rob. In this city, I have a total of 19 methods to acquire guns. They are scattered in different places, at different times. As long as the time and place are correct, I can reliably get my hands on firearms. This small seaside bar is one of them. Although these two people appear to be father and daughter, the father is actually a human trafficker, and he's here today to meet with the girl's family to collect a ransom. This incident is quite interesting and intricate, and I once died at his hands more than a dozen times in a row. However, I also found the best way to deal with him is to kill him right at the beginning.
Welcome. What can I get for you?
A glass of whiskey.
All right.
Dad tells you, just wait a little longer and you'll see Mom.
Hello.
What's up?
Could you come down for a moment? I have something I want to talk to you about.
What's the matter?
Move a little to the left.
What comes next?
Next.
Wait!
What? What the?
Are you that Jack?
Ah?
We haven't seen each other for many years. Let's go out and talk?
You.
Let's go out and talk, please.
All right. How is this possible? This is a looping world. Looping means that all people and things in this world remain unchanged. In every loop of the past year, there would only be 4 people in this bar at this time. The owner, the human trafficker, the little girl, and 1 customer. Who on earth is she?
Sorry for stopping you just now. Actually, I don't know your name. I just made one up on the spot to get you out here.
Ah, it's okay.
My name is Lucy. What's yours?
Cheems.
I have never seen you before.
Never seen me? Why emphasize that you've never seen me before? Haven't seen you either.
What did you want with that man just now?
It's just... How should I explain this? Should I tell you that I can loop through time?
Do you know something about him?
He's a human trafficker?
You know too! As I thought, it's not unchanging after all. Following this direction, it really could be.
Unchanging? What are you talking about?
I know you probably won't believe what I'm about to say. But everything I'm going to tell you is the truth. Please believe me.
Could it be that?
Actually,
No way.
I'm caught in a time loop.
My name is Cheems. This is my 4005th loop. In the past, I thought I was trapped in an eternal loop all by myself, unable to escape. But now, it seems that things have started to change.
Please believe me. I'm caught in a time loop.
Miss, your steak.
Oh, thank you. Is this really okay? Coming to such an upscale restaurant. It must be expensive, right?
You haven't gotten used to your looper status yet. For us, the concept of money doesn't exist anymore. After all, we can just make loan calls and use credit cards to get whatever we want.
Seems like it is.
There's no need to whisper so low. No one will pay us any mind, and even if they do, it doesn't matter because they'll forget everything by the next day. So you might as well be a bit bolder.
Oh, I'm just a bit overwhelmed. Cheems. Are you really caught in a loop too?
You said you're caught in a loop. What does that mean?
The story begins 5 days ago. Or rather, 5 loops ago. That morning, after waking up, I went for a walk by the seaside and felt hungry halfway through. So I randomly picked a restaurant to order some snacks. Just as I finished ordering and sat for a while.
Everyone stay where you are.
Suddenly, that man pulled out a gun and pointed it at us, ordering us all to sit in a row without moving. The owner, another customer, and I were all terrified, but for some reason, the little girl calmly followed his instructions. The man blindfolded us, so I couldn't see what was happening outside. But I heard sirens and a lot of voices, so the police must have arrived. They argued for a while, and the gist was that he was originally a human trafficker, but now he had changed his mind, and instead of selling people, he wanted the girl's father to bring him money and for the police to prepare a getaway vehicle. After a while, the father must have arrived. But, soon after, I heard a gunshot, followed by more gunfire. Then many police rushed in here.
Are you okay?
Just as I thought we were saved. A bomb suddenly exploded. When I came to again, I found myself in my bed at home. At first, I thought it was just a dream, but everything that just happened was too real. So that morning, I couldn't help but go to the restaurant to take a look. And found that they were all sitting there. Although I haven't figured out what's going on yet, I immediately realized that what happened before couldn't possibly be a dream. So I left there right away and was about to call the police. Hello, I'm at the restaurant on Seaside Road. There's a human trafficker preparing to. For some reason, that man suddenly appeared behind me and then tied me up inside again. It was the same as the previous loop. The third time, I finally realized that I must have been caught in a time loop. So this time, after I made sure from a distance that they were inside the restaurant, I left there directly and called the police from afar. I told the police about the human trafficker's characteristics and the information about the bomb in the rest. After that, I went straight back home without any accidents. However, the explosion still happened. I saw on the news that day that a total of 16 people, including the police, were killed in the explosion. I spent the rest of the time with a heavy heart. But after midnight, I suddenly found myself teleported to the bed. Now I finally realized that if I don't resolve this crisis, I'm afraid I will keep looping. In the following loops, I tried to bring weapons and take the opportunity to ambush him. But his reaction was very fast, and I was no match for him at all. Later, I pretended to chat to see if I could get some information out of him. He was surprisingly talkative at first, and I couldn't tell that he was a ruthless criminal. But for some reason, in a certain moment, he suddenly seemed to change and tied us all up again, repeating the previous plot. I've tried to warn loudly about the bomb in the restaurant during the time between his death and the police just coming in, but the timing is always a bit off. I've also tried to quietly tell the owner and another customer to leave first, but he is very alert, and it still failed in the end. Then it came to this time. Because I couldn't think of any good method for a while, I decided to observe from a distance. And then I met you.
That's it, I probably understand.
So do you believe what I'm saying? I know my words might sound a bit fantastical, but you're the only variable in these loops, and I don't know why you're in the loop, but if we join forces, we can definitely solve this crisis. And as long as we resolve this crisis, we should be able to escape the loop. As long as you're willing to help me.
I believe you, Lucy.
Really?
However, I think solving this crisis has nothing to do with escaping loop.
Why?
The time is 9:57. There's still time.
Wait, he has a gun. It's very dangerous. If you want to do something, you can tell me in advance, and I can cooperate with you.
Thank you for thinking of me, but it's really okay. Because he doesn't yet know he has a gun on him.
What?
Sorry, could you do me another favor? I've finished talking with her.
What's the matter again? Do I have to come down?
Yes, it's easier to talk down here.
So, what's this all about?
Lucy. Watch closely. First, kick his lower limbs. His
Wait,
gun is on the right.
what are you
Don't
doing?
grab the wrong one. Once you have the gun,
Let's talk this through calmly.
make sure not to go easy on him. Boss, after we leave, you can call the police. Remember to tell them there's a bomb in the store.
Where is this?
Let's go.
What? What exactly is going on?
We'll talk about it later. Lucy, the police will arrive at the scene in 3 minutes and 24 seconds after we leave here. So before that, we need to take care of the nearby cameras first. Then in this place, there will also be a homeless man who has seen everything. You didn't see anything, understand?
I didn't see anything.
Remember to give him just 1,000. If we give him too much, he might spend it extravagantly, which could lead the police to suspect him, and then they might track us down between 9 and 10 p.m. Taking care of these two will basically ensure our safety, but avoid wandering around here today, or we might be recognized by the boss. So, if you think the way to escape the loop is by resolving this crisis, then this should be the standard answer.
How? How did I know all this?
Because I'm just like you. Also looping.
Cheems. Are you really caught in a loop too?
This is already the 5th time you've asked me this question today. I think there's no need to ask again.
Sorry, I just feel it's unbelievable that there are people trapped in the same cycle as me.
The one who should be incredulous is me. To be honest, when I first saw you, my mind was about to overload.
That's quite an apology. So, what's the deal with this incident? Why did the human trafficker not act like he did later when he was confronting you? And what about the little girl's chip, the final explosion? What's going on with all that?
This incident is complicated, involving many people and many things. It took me more than a dozen loops to figure out the ins and outs. If I get the chance, I'll tell you later.
Later? When?
If we can meet again in the next loop.
Am I going to be stuck in this loop forever?
I'm not sure. I know very little about the loop. Why it happens, the cause, the way to get out, I have no idea. However, based on my experience, solving any so-called crisis has nothing to do with escaping loop. Because I have solved this crisis at least 30 times, but I am still in loop.
Is that so?
But you're not me. Maybe your way out of the loop really is to resolve this crisis. Don't be so sad.
You just said 30 times. How many times have you looped in total?
4,005 times.
That's so many! That must be 11 years, right?
It doesn't feel that long. After all, there have been many loops where I died prematurely, so if we're talking in terms of perceived time, it's more like 7 to 8 years.
That must be very painful. At least I can't imagine what I would be like if I looped more than 4,000 times. I think I would go crazy.
Well, not necessarily. Humans are more adaptable than you might think. I'm actually quite happy every day now.
Really?
Really. It's just, sometimes I feel a bit lonely. After all, everyone's memories disappear after each loop, which means that traces left, words spoken, friends made, all of it vanishes.
Is that so?
Let's not talk about that anymore. Hurry up and eat. Your steak is going to get cold.
Oh, I forgot all about it.
Then, let's part ways here.
Aren't we staying together until midnight?
I've said what needs to be said, and there's no point in staying any longer. The key now is whether you'll keep looping. If you're still looping tomorrow, go to the place I mentioned at 1 a.m.
Why not go at midnight? There's no need to wait until 1 a.m., right?
It rains at midnight where I am, and I don't have an umbrella at home, so I don't want to get caught in the rain.
I see, got it.
Then, I wish you a successful escape from loop. I'm leaving now.
Forget it.
There are still more than 40 minutes left. Let's do a brief recap. First of all, what she said should be credible, the basic details all match up. However, in the previous loops, I was at home playing games and didn't pay attention to the news, so I'm not sure if we were in the same loop before. But why on earth would I encounter a looper? It doesn't seem to make any sense. If I had done something special or triggered something, that would be one thing, but playing games at home for a few days and then running into a looper when I go out is just too strange. Could it be that there are actually many loopers? It's just that we haven't met each other before? Well, I still know too little about the loop. But now that the two of us have established contact, if we conduct some experiments, we might be able to uncover the secrets of the loop. No, even if we uncover it, I don't want to leave loop. Why break it? But I haven't talked to someone like this in a long time. Will we meet again in the next loop? But it seems she still can't stand loop. It's better not to stay in loop. But why is my heart beating so fast?
Hi.
Hi.
It seems I'll be staying in the loop for a while.
Let's go. Looping can be quite interesting. My name is Cheems. This is my 4023rd loop. Although this is a looping world, it doesn't mean that everything remains the same. Just as the flap of a butterfly's wings might trigger a tsunami far away. In a looping world, a small change can lead to endless variations. Now, the wings have been fluttered. Then, let's go. In the blink of an eye, we've been through more than a dozen loops together. At first, I was worried if she would suddenly disappear in one of the loops, but as I saw her more and more, I began to feel more at ease. It seems she will be staying in the loop for a long time. After that, we exchanged contact information. After all, it's too inefficient to run out every midnight to check if the other person is still there. So every morning starts with me adding her as a friend or her adding me, and then we decide together what to do in this loop. The first thing we did together was to start an experiment. An experiment about the loop. Firstly, there are two prerequisites for entering the next loop. One is midnight, and the other is death. And all along, I have been very curious about one thing. That is, after I die, does this world continue to function? Now, I can finally find out the answer. Shall you go first or me?
I'll go first.
Lucy is particularly concerned about the loop, even to the point of obsession. Although it doesn't show much on the surface, I can clearly sense that she desperately wants to leave loop.
So, see you next loop.
Lucy's death doesn't end the loop, which I'm not very surprised about. Although it's not completely confirmed yet, I think Lucy has been in the same loop with me since the first cycle. And during this process, Lucy has died several times, but I've never suddenly ended loop. So this was a point I anticipated. Now, it's my turn. After that, we conducted the experiment several more times, and the results were the same. The loop would end prematurely because of my death. This came as quite a surprise to me. In my previous assumptions, I thought the loop was unaffected by anything. The feeling that I immediately enter the next loop after dying is just because I lose consciousness, and my existence or non-existence didn't matter. But now it seems I am the main cause of the loop. In other words, it feels like the world revolves around me. After confirming this conclusion, not only the world revolves around me, but also Lucy. She seemed eager to find some secret about the loop from me, but I really know nothing about it. So after a few days of trying without success, she decided to give up. After conducting these experiments, we gradually became more familiar with each other. She didn't have a fixed job before the loop, just like me, belonging to those who do nothing every day. So we had a lot in common in many areas. But every time we talked about something related to the loop, she would become very anxious. I've also experienced this situation when I first started looping, where fear, panic, and despair would be continuously amplified under the infinite loop, making every day very unwilling to open my eyes, and eventually, I killed myself mentally. I think she can't go on like this anymore. Lucy. Don't worry about why the loop is happening. Let's start working.
Work? What kind of work?
It's too late today to do much. Let's do it tomorrow. You'll find out then. Lucy.
Cheems.
So, it's about time we got started.
The gun you have there is.
Oh, it's the gun from the bar over there. We're going to need it for our job today, so I picked it up on my way here. Speaking of which, the first time I saw you, I was on my way to do what we're about to do now. I didn't expect it to take so long.
Oh, come to think of it, you haven't told me what happened that day. We got caught up with testing the loop and forgot all about it.
Oh, that. The story is quite straightforward. The human trafficker was controlled by a gang called the Glitch Gang, and the Glitch Gang's real goal was to kill the little girl's father.
Wait, what?
In any case, here's how it all started. The night before loop, on the 13th, the human trafficker kidnapped the little girl.
Alright, who should I sell her to next?
After considering a few buyers, he finally decided to sell her to the Glitch Gang. The Glitch Gang is a gang specialized in illegal activities. Everything they've done over the years is listed in the criminal code.
The money has been transferred.
Pleasant cooperation.
Wait, this is his daughter!
The Glitch Gang had a grudge against the girl's father. I didn't get enough information in the past loops about what it was specifically, but it doesn't matter. In short, the Glitch Gang decided to use the little girl to lure her father out, and then take the opportunity to kill him. The tricky part, however, is that the police have been keeping a close eye on the Glitch Gang for years. It's fine on their own turf, but if they take people out, there's a risk of being inspected. And if they directly call the father to the Glitch Gang's territory, there's a high chance he would become suspicious. After much thought, they attacked the human trafficker, and implanted a special chip in him. The chip was designed to modify memory and personality. They preset two personalities for the trafficker. One was that of an ordinary person, kind and approachable. The other was a manic personality, with combat abilities and senses heightened to the maximum. At the same time, they also implanted a chip in the daughter. However, the daughter's chip is not as complex, it just keeps her in a state of complete tranquility, which is why she has been the same from beginning to end. The Glitch Gang's plan was simple. At 9:30 this morning, they had the trafficker take the daughter to the bar to wait. To prevent them from revealing their plot too early, The chip is set to the personality of an ordinary person at this time. They then used an anonymous call to notify the father, leading him to believe it was just a regular kidnapping case, lowering his guard. The father would arrive near the bar at 10:05. At 10, they would remotely control the chip to activate his manic personality and alter his memories, instilling a strong hostility towards the father. So to take care of him, the best method is to act before 10 o'clock.
So, the reason why your previous assassination attempt failed.
Yes. I think the main reason is that you acted after 10 o'clock. Of course, this time is not absolute. Do you remember when you once secretly called others out, and the second time you went to report to the police? Those times it probably wasn't because it was 10 o'clock, but because the glitch gang had also installed a surveillance system on the trafficker. I think they must have seen your suspicious behavior, felt something was off, and so they controlled the chip in advance, taking control of you. But as long as you disguise yourself as completely harmless, the glitch gang will not be able to figure out what you are trying to do and will choose to wait and see. Then you suddenly make your move. By the time they realize something is wrong and want to activate the chip, it will be too late.
Wait, what about the father? I never saw him in those loops from beginning to end, and since they want to kill the father, why would they tie us up?
If we hadn't shown up, the father indeed would have gone to the bar. The trafficker would have killed him the moment he stepped into the bar. But for some reason, if we were waiting in the bar, the father wouldn't come in and would instead choose to watch from a distance. So after waiting for a while, the glitch gang would think something has changed. And then they would issue orders to the trafficker, asking him to kidnap the people on the scene. After that, they negotiate with the police, forcing the father to bring the money over, or else they will kill all the hostages. Do you remember the first gunshot you heard?
Oh, it rang out once, then many times after.
Yes. The first gunshot was from the trafficker, killing the father who brought the money. After that, the police, realizing the trafficker had made a move, would forcefully break through and shoot him dead. The bomb was planted in the store by the trafficker after he tied you up. It's a safety measure in case they failed to kill the father. But the father was rarely killed by the bomb, usually he was shot dead. So, that's essentially the ins and outs of this incident.
It feels like there are still many doubts. Such as what the father does, why he has a grudge with the glitch gang, and why he won't come over if we're at the bar. Oh, could these secrets be related to escaping the loop?
Lucy, in loop, some things matter and some don't. The only purpose of this incident is to get us the guns, so we just need to understand the solution to this event. Those so-called feuds are irrelevant. Investigating them would just be a waste of time.
What are the important things?
Things that allow us to better enjoy the fun of the loop are the important things.
Enjoy? What about escaping the loop?
We need to leave. Time is almost up. If we don't hurry, we'll miss it.
Okay. So, our job is to just sit here under the bridge and daydream?
Lucy, in 2 minutes, something that might be invaluable will appear behind you.
What?
Here's how the story goes. On my 3994th loop, I met a person. This person looked very ordinary, nothing special. He was the type who could blend into a crowd and not be noticed. And the reason I noticed him was because of the box he was carrying. I had seen this kind of box in previous loops. It's a high-level security box, not something an average person would use. So it piqued my curiosity right away. So, I followed him all the way here. He went down and came back up a few minutes later, but the box was gone. So after he left, I went down to check, and sure enough, I found the box right here. But unfortunately, this box has many hidden mechanisms, and if you try to force it open, it might even launch a small bomb at the person in front of it. So even I can't crack it easily. But I was really curious about what was inside the box. This scene looks like a trading spot for some criminal organization. There must be something valuable in the box, and someone should come to pick it up soon. So I waited there for a whole day, and no one came by the end of loop.
That means...
Yes. This box will be taken away after the loop. So, the only way to uncover the secret of the box is to ask the person who left it. I've approached this person a few times, and he's very cautious, always refusing to communicate. I've tried the soft approach, so now we can only try the hard way. So, this is my job, to find interesting people or events to have more fascinating options in future loops. How about that? Does it sound interesting?
So, even if we uncover the secret of the box, what then? What's the point of all this?
Maybe it has something to do with escaping loop.
Really?
Well, maybe.
Alright, let's work together to uncover this secret.
So, let's begin. He's already here. Don't move. Move a little further forward. Turn around.
What? What are you going to do?
Nothing much. Just tell me what's in this box and how to open it, and I'll let you go.
What if I don't say?
Oh, still defiant? Then you can die, and we'll take the box with us to study it at our leisure. One day we'll crack it open, and it's a pity that you'll have died for nothing.
Alright, I'll talk, but I don't know what's in this box either.
You don't know?
This box isn't mine. I was just entrusted to bring it here.
Why bring it here? And who is it for?
I'm not sure. The person just said to leave it in this place.
Who is this person? Where are they?
I don't know who he is, but everyone calls him Dr. Max. He's at a clinic in the underground tunnels of Highwood.
Who are you then? Why are you helping him deliver something?
I'm just a regular mercenary. He pays me, and I help him. It's as simple as that.
Understood. Put down the box. I'll take this. No objections, right?
No objections.
Don't worry, I just want to know what's inside here. I won't kill you. Then, bye. That went smoother than expected. I should have just skipped the loop spent on probing him and gone straight for the gun.
Aren't you afraid he's lying?
Lucy, we are the loopers. Lies have no meaning to us. Whether it's a lie or not can be known by looping a few more times. So for now, let's just take his word for it.
Oh, I see. So, what do I need to do?
You should study for now. After all, it's your first time working. We'll leave it to you in the future.
Okay.
Alright, we're here.
How do you plan to talk to him? Should we ask him directly, what's in your box?
I'm not quite sure either. After all, I don't even know who the other party is. In any case, I'll make up a lie to test the waters. At this stage, the main goal is to gather information, and I never expected to settle it in one loop.
Oh wait.
What's the matter?
It just occurred to me, shouldn't we tie up that mercenary? What if he calls Dr. Max and tells him that we hijacked his goods? Then our lies would be useless.
It's okay. He's a foreshadowing I left behind.
Foreshadowing?
Hello.
Who are you? This box?
Oh, I met someone today who was attacked by a gang and was severely injured. Then, on his deathbed, he gave me this box and told me it belonged to Dr. Max. Are you Dr. Max?
It's me.
He entrusted me to return this box to you, saying it was supposed to be delivered somewhere, but now he can't deliver it. Very sorry.
Thank you.
We are actually mercenaries too. If you need our help, you can also entrust us to deliver this box, and the price is guaranteed to be fair.
No, thank you. I'll find someone else.
I see. All right, then I won't disturb you.
Bye.
Ah, right. I'm just a bit curious. What's in this box?
Oh, that box, huh? It's this.
Ah. So sudden with the gunfire. This matter. It's a bit tricky now. However, it's becoming interesting. Lucy.
Cheems. That person started shooting so suddenly, I didn't have time to react.
It's okay. I have a rough idea.
Do you have a plan?
I have an inkling. But we need to try a few more times.
So, are we going to get the box now?
Yes. Let's go down and wait for that person to come. After that, we need to repeat the process from before, exactly the same.
Exactly the same? That's not necessary, is it? He won't be hanging around the box after he leaves it, so wouldn't it be faster to just take the box after he's gone?
Oh. Lucy. There was something I forgot to tell you last loop.
What?
It doesn't matter normally, but we are in a working state now, and work requires precision and consistency. At times like this, we must remember everything we did that day.
Why?
Because of the butterfly effect.
The butterfly effect?
Let's go. Let's get the box first.
So, what does the butterfly effect mean?
Don't you know?
I know, it's roughly that a butterfly flapping its wings could cause a huge tsunami far away. But I don't understand why you said we need to remember everything we do. Isn't it enough to just remember the key things?
Because everything we do, no matter how trivial it seems, could cause significant changes in the looping world. Once a change is triggered, the conclusions we draw from the loop may not be accurate. Then we could end up in a situation where we do things that seem exactly like the last loop, but the outcomes are completely different.
But it seems like I haven't encountered the butterfly effect much in my loop so far.
You've just looped too few times and lack consistent observation. If you loop enough, you will definitely encounter it.
Really?
In any case, this matter is very complex, and I can't explain it to you in detail right now. Later, I'll tell you in detail about the situations I've encountered. All right. It seems the wings have already been fluttered. My name is Cheems. This is my 4023rd loop. If you are unfortunately targeted by a sniper rifle, the best course of action is to stay where you are. Because one cannot escape the speed of a bullet, and this allows you to die with more dignity. However, there is one exception. That is when you know exactly when the opponent will fire.
Don't team move. IV already locked onto your position. If you dare to come out, you're dead.
You won't hit me.
How did you manage to dodge my sniper shot?
Long time no see. It must have been 1,000 or 2 loops, right? What a hassle.
Dante, move!
How did you guys find this place?
Thank you for the information that helped us capture this fugitive, Mr. Cheems. The police department's reward will be deposited into your account within a month.
You're welcome, officer. I've already gotten what I wanted.
Although we won't inquire about the source of the information, I personally am really curious. How did you know he was hiding there?
Well, just a bit of luck.
Luck.
See you next loop, officer.
Loop?
This lead is completed, but this information doesn't seem useful for now. Forget it, let's move on to the next one and investigate further. The first time I saw him was on my 527th loop. My condition was much better than when I started, because I finally realized the fun of the loop. Everything is repetitive and fixed, so as long as I loop a few more times and gather enough information, I can do everything. This feeling, similar to solving a puzzle, was very delightful to me, but soon I realized that things seemed not to be that simple. What is going on? In the past loops, sudden deaths were not uncommon. And I was so surprised because I've been down that road many times, and there has never been a sniper incident at this point in any of the loops. I quickly became interested in this event, so the next day, I went to the same spot at the same time, but this time no one sniped at me. So it was then that I realized, it's very likely because I did something special in a previous loop, that led to the sniper attack. But I couldn't for the life of me figure out what it was. Thus, I decided to use a brute force method. That is, to repeat everything I did on the day I got sniped.
I don't do it for the money, I just do it for your ears. One by one they keep it running. Slip up a trip and you're dead.
Reproducing it exactly was not an easy task, but I eventually managed to do it. And after that, there was a long battle ahead. Since I didn't know what I did to cause his appearance, I could only repeat the initial loop and had no way to get useful equipment. Thus, I ended up fighting him continuously for over 30 times. After accumulating enough experience and feeling, I finally anticipated the moment he would fire, and then successfully subdued him. So, next, we can finally find out the answer. It took me quite a bit of effort to interrogate him. Since the shooting location was close to the police station, the police would check out the situation in just a few minutes. So, I specifically moved him to a remote corner. He was not a pushover, and conventional methods couldn't get him to talk. Plus, this victory was hard-earned, and defeating him again would take a lot of effort. So, I resorted to slightly more violent interrogation methods. After the interrogation, I spent the next few loops cross-verifying his statements, approaching him with different identities. Ultimately, I pieced together the truth behind the sniper attack. His name is Mose, a highly skilled mercenary. He was cornered by a ruining his life. So he used his last savings to buy a sniper rifle, preparing to randomly snipe passers-by as a form of revenge against society. But he hadn't made up his mind completely. The last vestiges of humanity within him were still battling with anger and pain. At this moment, like the straw that breaks the camel's back, anything could tip his sanity over the edge. On the morning of the 527th loop, I had gone to a newsstand to buy lottery tickets. It was a habit I developed starting from the 162nd loop. If I need to kill time during each loop, I would go to the nearby newsstand to find lottery tickets that could win prizes. This way, in future loops, I could obtain a large sum of money in a very short time. In that loop, I had checked half of the lottery tickets and found one that could win 50,000 yuan. The person who bought the next lottery ticket after me would, due to the change in the order of the tickets, win a small prize of 100 yuan. Because of this 100 yuan, he bought an extra meal at the breakfast shop. This way, he would have to wait for an additional traffic light before reaching the company. And while waiting at the traffic light, a wandering beggar would ask him for money. He casually gave the remaining change to the beggar. And it was precisely because of this act of begging, it caused the beggar to be 20 seconds late in reaching the next intersection, and it also led to him missing a passerby. Mose. I'm not sure why the beggar's interaction would affect Mose's thoughts. But in any case, if the beggar had seen Mose and asked him for money, even though Mose wouldn't give him any, he would ultimately and inexplicably abandon his plan to kill. On the contrary, if they didn't meet, Mose would definitely go up to that rooftop. I tested this in a few loops, and the result was always the same. And it was from this incident that I first recognized the butterfly effect.
Well, after that,
once I understood the cause and effect, I lost interest in him. However, the sniper rifle he had was actually quite good, so there were a few loops where I would go and take his sniper rifle. But that was a long time ago. I haven't seen him for at least 1,000 or 2,000 loops.
So the reason I was sniped by him was because...
Yes, it was because of something we did in that loop that triggered the butterfly effect. Do you remember doing anything different in the last loop compared to before?
Oh, I remember I bought an ice cream in the loop before I got sniped, and in the loop when I got sniped, I didn't buy the ice cream.
It's probably like how I bought a lottery ticket. You not buying that ice cream also triggered a series of butterfly effects, ultimately leading him to make up his mind to commit murder.
Wait, that's not right, Cheems. If not buying the ice cream would lead him to decide to kill, why wouldn't he go up to kill in the previous loops when I never bought ice cream there? Also, just because a beggar asks him for money, he would give up his plan to kill. That sounds too far-fetched, doesn't it? The butterfly effect can't be that illogical, can it?
I'm not exactly clear on that. But the butterfly effect is called the butterfly effect for a reason. It's because there will be a huge chain reaction between cause and effect. If you single out the cause and effect, it may seem illogical. If you really want to understand why not buying that ice cream could lead to such a huge chain reaction, you can spend a few loops trying it out. But I think it's just a waste of time and energy. It's better to do something more interesting when you have the time.
But it still feels a bit strange. Is it possible that this isn't the butterfly effect at all?
Not the butterfly effect? Not the butterfly effect.
Cheems? Cheems.
Oh, I'm fine. In any case, if you're really curious about this issue, you can try looping a few more times later. Let's take this opportunity to unlock that box.
Oh right, I almost forgot about that. Wait, do you already know how to unlock the box?
Well, after you died in the last loop, I tried again. Lucy, you asked me before why we didn't tie up that mercenary. Now I'll answer you, because I need to confirm whether what he said is true.
I don't quite understand. Not tying him up will confirm it?
Do you remember Dr. Max's reaction when we first met him?
Who are you?
His reaction clearly didn't seem like he knew us.
What's the connection?
Firstly, the mercenary handed over the goods obediently when we pointed a gun at him. He's obviously not someone with a strong sense of responsibility. So, what do you think he would do if his goods were hijacked?
Oh, he wouldn't tell his employer, because he would have to pay a large penalty. Instead, he would say that the goods were stolen and it had nothing to do with him.
Exactly. But if he wasn't a mercenary and was the doctor's confidant or someone else with some kind of vested interest, then he would inform the doctor about the hijacking. So now, combining the doctor's reaction, we can conclude that he indeed wasn't lying.
But what's the point?
Of course, there is. This allows us to draw two conclusions. First, not using a fixed contact to transfer things between the two sides indicates that the relationship between the parties is not very close. The second is a bit disappointing, which is that what's inside the box probably isn't very important. If it were something important, they wouldn't hire a mercenary like that. But we've come this far, let's still get what's inside the box out. In the last loop, after you died, the butterfly effect must have already disrupted everything. So I abandoned my original strategy, and instead investigated the reputation of Dr. Max in the area. He has a good reputation, often helping nearby residents with their medical needs, and I can tell they genuinely appreciate him. However, someone who can shoot so decisively is definitely not a purely good person. So, I prepared a little surprise for them, and they provided me with some information. That is, he has had connections with a gang called the Glitch Gang.
Oh, that's the gang.
A doctor colluding with gangsters, it doesn't take much to figure out what they're up to. Thus, I took advantage of the night and headed straight for the Glitch Gang, stealthily infiltrating and assassinating them all. Then, in their internal data room, indeed, I found the doctor's name and the agreed upon password between them.
These are?
The physical data of local residents. That Max doctor, under the pretext of treating illnesses and saving people, recorded the physical data of the residents in that area and handed it over to the troubleshooter. The gang would then find individuals whose physical data matched their clients and kidnap them. Just some dirty business. This job didn't yield any useful information. I was hoping there would be cash in that box, so we could have a quick way to get some cash.
Cheems, you're amazing. You figured this out so quickly.
After a few more loops, you'll be just like me.
So, this matter also has nothing to do with escaping the loop.
Lucy, why do you want to escape the loop so much?
Well,
it's okay if you don't want to say. But no matter what, only by understanding everything that happens in the loop can we possibly escape it, right? If you keep feeling down, you might never escape the loop.
You're right.
So, let's go.
Where to go?
Well, to the next loop. After that, we spent loop after loop together. In my past 4,000 loops, I never had someone with whom I could truly open up and chat. Even though the loop itself brought me endless fun, there were always nights filled with unbearable loneliness. But she appeared so suddenly. We are both loopers, able to understand each other's pain and joy, sorrow and happiness. I suddenly found that every day of life was so joyful. Like a beautiful dream from which one would never want to wake up. She remains fixated on escaping the loop, and I do my best to offer her advice and strategies. But deep down, I know we cannot escape the loop. I just want her to gradually face the reality, and then one day, time will wash away everything. And she can live happily in the loop like me. I thought that such times, such loops, could go on forever. Until that day. I had a falling out with her.
So, Cheems, let's stop here. It's time to part ways.
Wait.